Hi.
Vani is doing a trial class with us today. So today is one of, I guess, the 2, 3 topics that can be a little daunting. So be easy on yourself. If it's your first class, Bhavani, today, this is not a sample of the topics that we normally have. So if you can enjoy this class, then I guess it's going to be smooth sailing.
We will also have one more guest appearance. My daughter has decided not to go to school today, so I
Oh,
was
hi.
very. She said she was not well this morning, but the minute
Oh,
school was decided to skip, she has been very fine post that. So she's also sitting here with her pen and paper. She's 7.
okay. Very nice. I'm very glad.
So I might be talking to someone. Don't be suspicious. It's not a bhoot or anyone. It's just a human sitting here.
Not a problem. So, Bhavani, have I added you to the group? It's called Tuesday
Not
Online.
no, you haven't.
All right.
But yeah.
So, I'm going to forward you pictures that we'll use as reference image for the class.
Okay.
Okay, so today we're going to do animals. This whole month we are doing different types of animals. We started off with birds last week. This week it's going to be furry animals. Not that I think cows will not be considered furry animals, but nonetheless, I think cows have a nice structure that goes well with um, for the practice of other animals, like you've got horses or you've got deer, rhinoceroses, and all of those. So we'll start off with the dog because he's just incredibly cute. And I want to show you how to observe these various features in the dog and start making sketches of these. So like we did last week for the birds, first we are going to make loose sketches of all the animals. That helps us to understand proportion. Also, our hand to be able to translate the shapes that we see into just lines and textures. And then once we're familiar with that, then we will, time permitting, we will make a painting of one of these animals. And then hopefully you have an idea of how to go about this whole process. And then you can take up different animals of your own choice. So, yeah, that llama is a good idea also. But remember that when you choose an animal which is largely white, it then you have to depend on making a lot of texture that is very subtle. So I would recommend first go for an animal which has got some kind of color or some texture, like a rhinoceros has got a lot of texture. So does an elephant. So even if it is a uniform color, you can still create some kind of depth with it. Okay, so I'm sharing the image and I'll show you the proportions of the dog. I just want you to observe this. You don't need to draw this. I will then make a screenshot of this and I'll share it on the group and I'll share it individually with you, Bhavani, so that you have that with you while we make the drawing. Right. So whenever you start off with drawing something, anything, in fact, you can break it up into some kind of shape or a grid. Sometimes you can just make an objective uniform grid, like an inch by inch, centimeter by centimeter, square, rectangle. But here's what I like to do because it helps to understand that particular subject uh, just by itself. So there is an internal geometry for all subjects. I would like to start off with something maybe slightly bigger. A circle is a good starting point because that will also help you to proportion your drawing or size your drawing on the page. Then you draw a line through the center. Then you draw a line through the center on the horizontal. And suddenly you start seeing some kind of shape or symmetry. Now, the other thing we do is within a circle, we also know that we can mark points like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock position of a line. So if this is the center of a circle, if I draw a line going to this side or to this side, we can see that the eye comes between the 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock position. And then also I can make a line at 1/4 of the circle. So half of the top half of the bottom half. And then within that, we could probably make maybe 4 parts. So here we know where the mouth will begin. So using just our eyes without even a scale or any kind of measuring tool, we are able to create a grid. And on this grid, we can mark more and more points. Now, this is not the only way you can make a grid. You can come up with your own measurements and own points of reference, so long as you have something that is not related to another factor. Like, for example, I'm going to save this image. If we work with rectangles or ovals, then you are dependent on two bits of information. So what is the size of the ovals, how far they are in order to, or circles in order to create an oval. With rectangles, how tall is it or how wide is it is. So there are two variables over here. With a circle and square and equilateral triangles, you don't have too many variables, so they're easy for everyone to begin with. Now, after this come the next points of reference. So how far do we take the line to go to where the fur is? So this could be maybe 1/4 of the way out. So you take measurements, or maybe 1/3. Take measurements based on the already existing measurements that we have. From here, how far does the ear go? Again, about maybe half the distance outwards. What angle is the ear at? And then what angle does it come towards the body? At this point, we can also consider making a square shape. Nah, square is just not going to work, so no point. Then we have the tongue, which is about so much. We know it's about maybe 1, 2, 3 rungs of that. So I'm just making these lines now, which we can measure and give some kind of meaning to according to the existing red lines and blue lines. All right, now I'm going to share this. First, we are going to draw the scale, and then in that we will draw the shape of the dog.
Last time, I think somebody had mentioned a squirrel for some reason. Maybe
Oh,
when
yes.
we paint, we can do a squirrel. Our
Yes.
kind of squirrels, you know, the stripy ones, chipmunks.
Yeah, we can. I'll look for an image in the meantime.
Yeah, I saw one. I'll put it up later. Let's do this one. Aditi and Ashok and Vidya are not joining this month.
This month they're not joining.
Oh.
All right, I've added that. So we can start off with first scaling. So you decide how large you want your picture to be. That um, that will determine how large the circle should be. So if you want a dog's face that is as big as your entire page, then you make the circle large. So obviously your starting point is defined. Now, when you're making a circle, make it very light and just make it like a guideline. It does not have to be perfect and it does not have to be too dark. Then we will mark a line through the center vertically and horizontally. Then we will mark the 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock point, quarter, and 8th, the 16th. Now I don't even know how much we are bifurcating this to. And all the lines, in whatever order you can see them, you can make them. So remember, the lines are there only as a guideline for you if you need them. But say if you feel that there are some lines you don't need because you know what the proportion is, you can see it and you can stake it on paper without having to refer to the lines, then go ahead and do it. Do trust your eyes, trust your judgment. And funnily enough, you won't know whether or not your eyes are trustworthy unless you have tried and failed a bunch of times. And in this case, failure is the only way to progress. If only all accomplished artists could keep their failures instead of just their best work, then we really know how much it takes or what kinds of mistakes it takes to come to the right art or right skill. Now, once you have made this, you can start building the shapes you see. And all the shapes are seen with reference to the grid you've made. So the nose starts in the middle, just above the line in the middle, the horizontal, and then it ends at the 1/4 line up here. If we did not have this reference point, I have a feeling that we would have ended the nose a lot higher. But now you can see that it is where it is, and it is fairly large. Then we have these large nostrils. Now, when we draw the rest of the lines on the dog, just see that you don't draw the lines going like this for the mouth, as much as break it up and make it look like fur. This is the circle. See, at what point does the mouth start? Somewhere here, right? Then we have the nose. Lovely white patch around the nose. So make lines like these which look like fur, so that when we have to paint it, we don't have to then erase a line that is like this, which is not how fur would look. So for all the times that I have discouraged everyone from drawing these broken lines, this is the place where you do need it. So that's why I find myself constantly checking what I'm saying about a certain line or a certain shape, because I have found that there are really no mistakes in art. At best, what you're making is inappropriate at that time for the desired outcome. But if these were the lines, if you were drawing these lines in a human portrait, your portrait would not look as impressive as you would like it to look. But these very lines are exactly the lines you need to make in an animal illustration. The broken lines and what otherwise would have looked like hesitant lines. Because if you don't make these, then your animal is going to look a little odd. Now, when you're making the eye, I want you to look at the original image, not the one with the grid. And I want you to practice this. The shape of the eye is very specific. So zoom into the eye if you can and see the shape. It is not just a round. In this case, it is an oval where you have certain shapes like the corner of the eye, the inner eye. Then you have the upper lid, which is rounder. And then you have a lower lid, which starts off shallow, closer to the inner eye, and then becomes a little round towards the outside. See, these shapes are very critical. Then you have the eyeball, which is slightly inside. That's why you see the white of the eye towards the bottom here. Then you have a shadow in the large section, shadow that is of the upper lid and the inner inside of the upper lid as well. Then we will make an ovoid shaped highlight. Then a circle or an oval exactly concentric to the shape of the eye. Always. This is the lens, which is always dark. Then there's a little bit of a highlight even on the right of the lens. And I'm going to build up the darkness around this. So first I'm going to shade the pupil a certain very light shade, especially towards the bottom. Within that, then closer to the lens, I will make it a little dark. And then the part of the inner lid that is touching the eyelid, eyeball would be darkest, and the part that is slightly towards the skin side would be slightly lightest. And then there's a thickness here. And from here, we will then have fur. Even the corner of the eye, the inner eye, even that has a certain darkness. And then right around the outside, you start making lines of the fur. Now you'll notice that the direction of the fur is also very important. We can't just make shapes willy-nilly. Position of the fur, density, color, direction of the hair of the fur, all these are very important, and it's all in the line. Okay, this dog is looking towards the front, so I'm going to make it darker towards the center here. Okay. All right, so in this case now I'm going back to our reference image, not a reference image, sorry, the scaled image. And over there, I'm going to make our eye. Now it comes somewhere over here in this corner. One here, one here. And when drawing these eyes, notice that usually in the case of the eye, the highlights are on the same side. So if there's a highlight on the left, on the right eye, it'll be on the left in the left eye as well. Except in this case, because the animal is looking towards the camera, and I suppose the light of the photographer's light is right above the camera. Both the highlights are pointing towards the center. So there's a good chance that our dog is going to look a little squint in the illustration.
I was just going to say this. I said, how is my dog looking so squint when the highlights are supposed to be? And I've tried erasing tried widening the highlight a little or making it a little bigger because he started looking bad-tempered. And this guy is so cute. And this cuteness comes from his eyes. And, if he's going to look squint.
Yeah, he actually, even in the photograph, he is looking a little squint because of the highlight. It's just the way it is now. We can't do anything about it. So when you share the picture with me, I'll be able to show you if there is if the squint is looking visibly like a handicap, then I'll tell you what you can change. It's usually just the solution is to add a shadow in some place to correct that. Okay, now that the eyes are drawn, I will focus on drawing the fur. And because this is a sketch, our fur can just be even like scribbles. But of course, it will help if you can make your scribbles in such a way that you make that very sketchy line when you are shading. A sketchy line is one where you cannot see the start or the end of the line. You just see this middle part of the line, in which part we will control the darkness using pressure. And as is the case, right-handed people will enjoy making the right side of the face, and left-handed people will enjoy making the left side of the page, because that's the direction in which your hand can move very easily. So the purpose of this exercise is for you to know how to sketch, basically how to sketch anything. Sketching is it's like the backbone of all art. If you can sketch well, everything else will come very, very easy. And if you are ever in need of doing any art, you have 5 minutes, 10 minutes, sketching is the one thing you can do. You don't need lots of equipment, you don't need space, it's not, you don't have to work with toxic stuff and all. So it's one of the most modest, democratic, egalitarian tools. And unfortunately, it is often dismissed as a kid's tool, not for grown-ups. Most grown-ups think that it'd be better if they get some acrylic kit and do some serious art. But at least in my experience, I have noticed that all those other mediums are very frustrating if you don't even know how to block down the stuff that you feel you want to make. And then also all mediums require different kind of behavior with the tool. So while some mediums like acrylic and oils need your hand to be really firm but brief making the strokes, watercolor would need your hand to glide on paper, not to make very firm strokes. That kind of flexibility for the hand cannot come holding a brush alone. In order to hold a brush and exercise flexibility, you must be able to have a very flexible hand. Like I've recently been using the term, the abs of your fingers must be very strong, whatever that means. So being able to control the line and pull it in any way you feel is necessary should be the quality that you want to build in. So when sketching, these things can often happen. You will be able to sketch half, especially with something that is symmetrical. Half of the picture will look great, and then you'll be tempted to say, please don't see this part, or this part has come out very nice. So you'll want to hide and say, this part has not come out right. And in our great desire to be so perfect, we are quick to dismiss what we have made because we are unhappy with it. And we should, in fact, use this opportunity to investigate why we seem unhappy. Because therein lie the clues to what we have not been able to achieve. Again, I would not want to say what we have done wrong, because it is not wrong, it is just inappropriate at this time. And so our illustration might miss its mark, but it is not wrong. So if we were to adjust the line, it would become appropriate again, not right or wrong. So we need to look at the line and just ask it, are you too long? Are you too short? Are you in the right direction? Are you of the right nature? Are you straight when I want it to be curved? Are you too bold? Are you too light? Just that, because it's one of these things. When and if adjusted, everything should start looking like it's on track. So when you're shading, move from a medium dark to a dark shade. Avoid making very dark strokes right in the beginning. When there is a dark patch like this, like the nose, I will first shade in a little towards the middle, not starting from the edge. Because in case I have miscalculated the area covered by the nose, I don't have to erase the edges. I can, in fact, start a little thinner, expand the edges to wherever I see them reach. Hi, Soj.
Hi, Aditi.
Hi. So we've just finished our first sketch, or still not even finished. So if you want to, you could just listen in so that you understand the concepts. So that if you have any questions, feel free to ask questions also. Even if you're not doing it right now, it's perfectly okay. And then later on, whenever you get the time, then you can watch the recording and then try it all over again. Okay?
Yeah, so now I shouldn't take a pencil in my hand and do anything, no?
It's not necessary. If you feel it's going to be too much of a bother right now, it's okay. You can just
Okay.
watch it, and still you could have some doubts. Ask me questions. I can help you with that also. So that if
Okay.
you watch the recording, you will know, you won't have a problem then. Okay?
Uh-huh. Because now I can't start I mean between it's very difficult, no?
Don't start this one. We are going to make another one. So you can
Okay, so
start.
that I'll start. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I'll see this. I'll watch this.
All right.
Okay, thanks. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now see how the nose that I made, I started off with making a medium tone. And now I can see that this chap's nostrils are really big. So I'm expanding the area of the nostrils. I'm just making them slightly bigger. Rather than making them too big and then coming inward, I start a little inside the area I have marked as the nostril and then move outward. Then I also make different kinds of grays here. I make a slightly lighter gray towards the bottom of the nostril where there is a highlight. And knowing that there's a certain texture in dogs' noses, I will not shade straight. I will shade this thing a little bit in a backward and forward scribbly movement. So automatically I start getting some kind of texture in an underlayer. I will add some shadow here. I think I can even expand it a little more the way I see it. And then I'll add some more texture. And as I start adding texture, I see that maybe I can adjust the mouth. There's the jaw on the left. Now it's beginning to get some shape. Now, even when we want to complete the shape of the dog, you can merely draw lines like these and finish it off. Excuse me. When we are making this dark fur, make your lines go through the medium colored fur. Don't stop. Don't stop halfway. Like you don't start from one defined point. The line I make is like this. Okay, let me show you the different types of lines we can make. When we are writing, we make very defined lines like these. But when we are drawing, our lines should look very wispy. So, and those are absolutely useless for writing. So imagine making a line like this. This is the kind of line that works very well for a drawing. This is the line that works very well for writing. So we want to use this line for drawing. Any place you see yourself making lines where you firmly keep your pencil and draw a line like that, here you will start seeing that the line starts interfering with other textures around. Now, in order to make this line, you have to almost tease the paper. So I will make a line where if I were to imagine my pencil going in a circle that is vertical over the paper, not horizontal like this, but in a vertical like a Ferris wheel. The time that my line comes down is where it touches paper, but it goes back up again. That is the kind of line we need to draw. Sometimes there'll be more pressure, sometimes there'll be less pressure. Now, the place where we want to end this texture, like the ears. Ears. In some places, you have a very feathery shape like this. Then you have a straight line, which is colored dark. The line is still the same. This time it's just pressed and very close to each other.
What pencil is this you are using, Aditi?
This is that Yuva Stallion Ultra Dark.
Ultra dark, okay. Okay. I started off with a very hardish kind of a pencil. So I was getting all, medium tones only.
Oh.
But yeah, I've just taken my, the lead one, the graph. So that's a bit better.
But that will still continue to give you hard lines.
Okay.
Look for one of these simpler pencils if you can.
Yeah. Okay.
But a soft lead.
Oh, there's one called matte Faber-Castell Super Dark or something. Will that do? No.
Yeah, I think that should do. But first, be gentle with it, and then
Yeah. Okay.
comfortable. Then check the line, the darkest line, and then move ahead. Okay. Do you want to try another animal now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. Have a look at mine in case.
All right.
Yeah. Can you see it?
Nice. The nose is very good. So individually, all of them, all the features are good. The
But
right eye, you're
yeah.
always looking squint because the highlight is a little too large.
Ah.
If
Okay.
from the bottom, if you can reduce it.
Yeah. Okay.
it should be better proportioned. It should work.
He's looking crazier by the minute. I'll just leave him alone.
Leave it for now. Okay. I'm going to go over the same thing one more time with the cat. Shall we do the cat or shall we do the rabbit? Rabbit we'll do later. There's a different way I want to show you the rabbit. So for Saroj's benefit and for everyone else, I'm just going to revise how to work an internal geometry again with the face of the cat. All right. Here again, let's start with a circle. Now, in this case, we can't make a line that's vertically center. Makes no sense. So tilt it to the angle that you see. Now, what angle would this be? For that, you can make a line on any horizontal axis. Look at the angle made by the vertical line. It's maybe about 85 degrees or something. It's important to know that it's not 90 degrees and it's not 80 or not 75. It's almost straight, but just a little tilted. And this little bit you can figure out yourself. A little bit of andaza is fine. If I were to make a line that goes straight from here, this is the angle it has. I'm going to keep the red line. It's pretty subtle, so it won't disturb us. Then we get very tempted to make a line over here like that at the eyes, but we don't know if that is the half line. So cut the center line in half and then draw it perpendicular on either side and see where that comes, maybe slightly low. And even after measuring, if it comes on the eye line, then great. That is the way you have to measure it. Now, at this point, if I make a line at a quarter of the bottom, it really makes no sense. I might get more data if I were to divide it into thirds. So the eye ends at 1/3 from the center, and the nose is placed at 2/3 from the center, and half of that is where the mouth is placed. Everything is really, really tiny. Then from the center, if I were to draw a line going towards, assuming that the center is center of a clock and that this top part is 12 o'clock, at what angles do the ears of the cat go? They also come straight out from the sides of a face and then angle out from halfway up, not even halfway, a quarter of the way from the sides of that section on top. I can also quarter. Is this a quarter? No, not really. This would be at 1/4 vertical. That's it. So I'm going to share this image and we will try and sketch this. It's interesting that there are so many things that you would land up seeing as an artist, which scientists might not be seeing just because they are not trying to draw the animal as much as they're studying that species. There's a wonderful...
Aditi?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to ask, do we have to measure like the radius, the diameter of the circle, how much we have to draw or something like that?
Not really. No, let me explain. So the
Okay,
circle just gives you a starting point. So when we have this blank page, you want to know how big you want to make the animal or anything. So in this case now, if I have place over here, I can draw my cat only over here. Then I'm going to make my circle in such a way that everything fits within this space. That's the purpose of the circle. And to your question is also valid. If I had an A3 size paper on which I wanted the head of the cat to be about 6 inches, then I can make a circle of a 6-inch diameter and then build that cat around it. It's the same thing. Okay. So right now we don't have to measure it. We only need to measure the circle so that it fits, but not even measure, draw the circle so that it fits in a certain size on our page. We are making 4 different animals on this page. I don't want you to make very large animals. Keep them small, and the cat is going to be about this big over here. So I'm going to draw this circle so much so that I can fit the cat's ears somewhere over here. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So this is my.
Aditi, sorry, you'll have to share that image with me too. Sorry.
Yeah. I was wondering what I was in the middle of doing. Thank you. Yeah. So this is my 90-degree. I'm not even drawing that 90-degree angle, just giving myself an indication so that I can draw my 85-degree line. And now I'm going to actually tilt my book so that I can make all the other shapes better. 1/3, 1/3. Now this 1/3 thing, no, it's all so arbitrary in a way because we are eyeballing it. But try to measure it and see whether you've made 3 parts of the bottom half of the circle. It's not difficult to do, but we often think that we won't be able to do it, so we don't even try. At every point, there is going to be something in the main image that is going to help you build the rest of the object or item. So look for that cue. So here we have the nose. I'll draw it as a simple triangle. This is the mouth. So this is the center where the eyes are on the side. We'll get to that. The nose is not actually on the first line. It is between the first and second line. And then we come low to the third line, which is the mouth. This third line over here, I just want to clarify again. This is half and this is 1/3. So it will actually be 1/3 of half of this. This is 2/3. Right? So we have 1, 2, and 3 parts. And this line of the mouth is actually the half mark between the bottom and this 2/3 division. That's why this is the third line. So first we can mark all these spots. Mark the sides of the nose. And then the eye ends somewhere over here. Where is the center of the eye? It's at this point. We have to draw the lines at half vertical, 1/4 vertical in either hemisphere. And this will give us the shape. The shape of the cat's eye is also interesting, like we did the dog's eye. Again, at this point, you can focus on the reference image and try and draw that eye. So what is the shape like? You have a curve that's like this, and then comes almost straight down to create this inner eye. So look at only this line. Don't even look at it as an eye or an eyelid or a cat or anything. Just look at the top line. It goes like this. And then from at one point, you will have a line coming down like this. If you look at just the shapes that you have to make, you will be a better artist than if you try to tell yourself, I can draw a cat, I can draw a dog, I can draw a lion, so on and so forth. Sometimes we get very intimidated by knowing the subject that we are making. But at the end of the day, it is just a line. Have any of you seen this movie called Ratatouille? It was an old movie from 2007.
Yes, yes, several times. My goodness.
So there's this scene in the movie where they are expecting that the critic Anton Ego, to come for lunch. And everyone is very nervous. And this girl, Colette, tells our chap to give a speech and motivate the staff. And he just derails himself big time. And he's trying to say he's going to come, and then there might be pressure, but don't take any pressure. So he just says the wrong things at that time. And the staff is shaking their head. They are all experienced in some kind of chef business, but he is really, one of them, in fact, just says even that this is very bad juju. So at that point, Colette comes back and she claps her hands and he says, Anton Ego is just another customer. We just have to feed that customer, and we know what we do and we do it well, and we just have to do the same thing. That's it. We don't have to do anything special, nothing different. It is just a customer. That's exactly the same way you need to look at everything that you draw. If you can draw a line, you can draw a few lines together. Those lines can become dogs, the same lines can become cats. So you just need to figure out how to draw that line and where to draw it.
There's not much of a highlight in the cat's eyes, no? I mean, there's no shine because the camera, that flash must not, or rather, there must not be a bright light. There is a bit of a highlight. It's just a little lighter than on the left side, upper left side. I think.
Correct. But for that, you can make an artificially a bright highlight. I normally do that. I will keep this entire section lighter. And there is a texture in the eye, right? So move your pencil very lightly to create the texture. Now there is a slight highlight at the bottom also. I think I just know this because I've lived so much with cats. I've studied them, or have just happened to have studied them without even wanting to. So you will you will make it darkest in this section. And then the center line, you will first make that part medium dark, and then keep going back and forth in that part itself. And automatically it'll start becoming wider because we do not have that ability to always make our pencil mark in the same spot. So use that to your advantage. So when you make it like this, the highlight will make the cat look more alive. But because of all the lines around it, that patch will not look as white as it should look. So we are safe. So this is why sketching is important. Anytime you feel that you are unsure of your lines, just make a small sample somewhere in the corner that you need of your sketch. Try it out. Maybe try it 2, 3 times. Try the right eye on the right. And then you can go and put it in your final sketch. So even here, I'm going to first draw the placement, make the placement of the eye according to the grid that I've drawn.
Aditi, another thing I would love to, which really intimidates me, this, if I'm looking at a sketch to
Hmm.
do it, of course, when you're looking at a real life thing, it's a little more difficult. But
Hmm.
what I can never manage is like if I'm sitting inside a room, like you do at an airport, or, if I have to draw this room around me,
Hmm.
just to get that, I mean, I can't really see the perspective. I I just see lots of things and I see the walls and the roof and stuff. But to
Hmm.
get it small on a piece of paper, it looks almost like a full page. But if you had to make it into a
Hmm.
small sketch, it's complete. I have no idea how to tackle that. So I'd love to learn sometime when you have that.
Okay. Let me see where we might have that. In April, I'm changing the topic from, I think that used to be textile prints, but I'm making it travel. Uh, so that the people who are coming for the Srinagar trip will have some primer. So during travel, we can take this up. Maybe the inside of a restaurant. Would you remind me, Elaine? Because I tend to forget.
Certainly, I will. Certainly, because it's something that's very, very important. Sometimes I'm sitting in a room, there's a performance happening, and it may be musicians or one particular musician, and the whole setting is so nice. But
Hmm.
just to get just the room and the curtain, or the lamp at the back and the corner of the room, and it may be just where he's sitting on a small dari, to
Right.
get all that into kind of on a page, and especially if you have a small notebook,
Ah.
it's just not possible. I could draw the musician, but but to get to a room, very difficult.
Interesting. Yeah. No, we'll do that. We haven't done that actually, no?
No,
So,
we haven't. And I remember you drawing the inside of this beautiful house in Goa. It was a room in yellow, and there was a whole lot of stuff in it, and there was tables and sofa. I remember that quite vividly. Or you're inside an airport. You have
correct.
all the chairs in front, and the windows, and so that is the kind of thing that is, and to draw quick sketches utterly impossible. I would have to take a picture, then look
Hmm.
at the picture at that scale, because then it makes it smaller and
Yeah.
have something flat. Yes, that's it. Look at that. I mean, the windows, then there's that cupboard, then there's the AC and the tops and the everything you managed to fit in completely at scale. And it's just a double page.
Yeah. Okay.
So this
Yeah,
is
we should
something
do
that is
this.
utterly impossible. And to get the table, the side tables at that angle, to get
Hmm.
the table further on from the vase,
Yeah.
that is like, just too much.
Yeah. Even the in flight.
Yeah, this kind of thing. This kind of thing is just like, I mean, the chair, now I look at it when it's flat, it's okay. It's when I'm looking at
Mm.
something 3D like that, no? That's
Yeah.
why I feel I'll take a photograph and then I'll paint it.
which is
That's
fine.
not the point.
Yeah, you can do
No,
that. But
yeah,
so,
but I don't want to do that. I want to do it like that.
okay.
Yeah. Say if I don't have a phone, then
Hmm,
what?
correct. Yeah, that's true.
I'm the kind of person who very often doesn't have a phone. In this day and age, I think it's a little tough, but I don't. I forget to carry my phone most times.
Yeah, no, so that is the whole point is that phones are very new, but sketching we should be
Yeah.
regardless of the phone. Now, for the fur of the cat, um, make it with short lines like this, and make a medium tone with just these short lines first. So it's going to look like a very light cat. You can go back and forth, distribute the lines equally. And then in some places, you can start making those lines more concentrated. And in some places, add more pressure. So this comes from those ab exercises. How much pressure? Where? The ab exercises for the hand. So both Bhavani and Soj, since it's your first day today, I would like to show you an exercise after class if you have the time, which you could start off with just a little thing I call pencil yoga, which can help build your muscles. When you're sketching, one thing might happen. As you start adding more and more elements, you will notice that maybe you have made certain lines too long or too short, or some kind of adjustment might be warranted. Like in my case, my ears have become too big. So this cat is going to look more like a mountain lion if I don't adjust those ears, which is not so far off, but then I should be able to recognize proportions. Proportions also become more accurate the more data you start filling in. So expect for your pictures to change from start to finish. There's nothing wrong with that. The first few lines that you draw are merely guidelines. They're like the scaffolding around the building under construction. If we were to finish at the building according to the scaffolding that people make, you can imagine how horrible the building is going to look, and probably not very functional either. So be prepared to adjust your lines. Wherever you have fur, make these wispy lines. Wherever you have white colored fur, make the wispy lines around them so that that border can look very distinct. And you don't need to make any fur in the white section. And then also you can finish the page, the face with just these kinds of lines. Remember, this is supposed to just be a sketch for practicing. Now, if you feel confident about continuing this sketch, I would like you to take your time and finish this sketch during the week. And I'd like to show you another technique of sketching. The rabbit. So the rabbit and the cow can be sketched in another way. Even the dog and the cat can be sketched another way. And this is a much quicker way of sketching. So I want to just show you how to do this. This way you can do the more concentrated sketching like in the first part that we've done, and a more loose sketching, which helps you understand or helps you what's called block shapes without having to go through that whole internal geometry, drawing all the shapes and proportions, and still get some shape. So I want you to see this. Now that you know how to do the earlier complicated bit, this should come fairly easy to you. So I'm going to draw the rabbit over here, and then I'm going to draw the bull over here. And I want you to just observe this part. Don't draw with me. I just want you to see how my hand moves and how I make these shapes. That's the more important part. So I will start off with making almost continuous lines to create some shape. This, as you can tell, is going to be the shape of the rabbit. But you will notice that I do not really lift my hand from the paper. And I'm also holding my pencil fairly far away. When I'm drawing this, I am largely looking at the reference image and very little on the paper. My paper and my reference image are almost in the same plane. So the distance my eye travels is at its minimum. All my lines are made very sketchy, and I will have all the freedom to keep adjusting those lines. This is a true sketch, and we should be practicing making sketches like these as well. Now, once you are comfortable with your shape, you can start adding details very roughly. They don't have to be too refined, like how we've done for the dog. This also helps build your hand skills, and in some way, once you have built your the ab muscles of your fingers, this sketching comes a lot easier as well. So it's both a reason for and a fallout of your ab exercises. I have to coin a different word. Ab exercises, I can almost imagine some students sitting and doing crunches and thinking, how is my hand going to improve with this? Now, wherever you have a gray, you just need to mark a gray texture. So you just need to put down some kind of pencil mark in that value. So values are lightness or darkness of a color. And in this case, we can easily tell that the area around the eye is fairly light, but it's got a slightly darker shade of whatever color. So the value has changed. And these values are usually a consideration when you are making black and white pictures, even when we have black and white photography. You change the values and suddenly everything changes. The more texture you fill up, the more details you fill up, even if they are crudely filled up, they start giving you a sense of proportion. And you can start figuring out whether your animal or your subject is turning out like the reference image. And this can go bigger. Okay, do you want to give it a shot?
Could you draw the eye of the rabbit just like the dog and the cat, the individual eye?
Yes, yes, I'll do.
Thank you.
Okay. Here, here's the shape. So you have the upper eye. Usually, when you're drawing this, look for 2 points. One is the inner corner of the eye and the outer corner. The outer corner in this case is higher and is hidden behind the eyeball. So you have this shape. This is the inner eye. And then you have almost like a bottom, left and right, left, bottom and right of an oval shape. And then within this is our eye, like so. And then we have concentric circles like that, or concentric ovals in this case. And then part of this oval is our highlight over here. And there is also another highlight. So make this a medium shade first. This will make the eye look very dead. Then make light colored edges along the iris. Just a little medium shade over there. Definitely a shadow close to the inner eye, just below the under eye, top lid. So it starts becoming slightly more alive because of the contrast. Then look for evidence of tiny highlights. Like in this case, we have the inside dark, and then immediately outside it, there's a small light patch. It's not white, but there is a highlight. These little things make our illustration look very realistic. It's the highlights and the shadows and the odd shapes that work. See? And unlike watercolor, where we avoid making back and forth movements, in pencil, do make those back and forth movements and build the texture. Now, I haven't made the inner, the lens of the eye too dark yet. I am going to work on that. So now, like I was saying earlier, instead of shading from the outside circle towards the inside, I will start making my lens dark from the center, because I know for sure the center is going to be dark. As we come towards the outside of that part, we don't know what part is the lens and how much of it is open and how much of it is just a coloring of the iris, since all of it is connected. And sometimes when we are working with pencil, unlike the photograph that we are using as reference image, we need to change a few things so that our pencil image looks convincing. And one of the things to change is the areas where you have dark shades. You may have to reduce those shades a little bit. So, or you have to create artificial highlights. The edges also must always in portraits be soft, because in nature, very rarely do you see a hard edge or a hard transition from one object or one feature to another. So it's all about building this darkness through series of back and forth lines. Now, all these instructions are only for pencil. The moment we go into watercolor, everything changes, the technique changes. And now keep making. As I come outward, I will start making more lines and shorter lines in this case because the fur on a rabbit is even shorter. Ironically, funnily enough, the Angora wool, I think, comes from an Angora rabbit, right? That one has got a whole lot of fur.
Yeah. We could have actually taken a hairy coo. That would have been a fluffy cow.
A hairy what?
Coo. They call them coos in Scotland. A hairy coo. They
Mm.
don't say cow. And it's
Oh,
awfully hairy.
I didn't know that. But
Yeah.
isn't it ironic that something that's a hare has such little of it?
Yes.
Okay,
I'll
now.
just show you what
Yeah.
I've done. This I did without any rubbing. I mean,
Oh, good.
little bit, not too bad. It's a fat rabbit, but I mean fat hair. But
Okay. Let's see, Janita. Very nice. Good. The eye is now looking so good. The detailing.
Yeah, I really like the eye of the rabbit. That was
Very
my
nice.
favorite.
it's really nice.
Yeah, even Elaine, your rabbit is also looking very good.
Rabbit is looking like something out of Alice in Wonderland. It's looking quite
Exactly.
self-assured and very confident.
My
Yeah.
dog
Yeah,
was looking like a cat in the beginning.
what?
I don't know why.
Your
When I
dog
was,
is, huh.
is it the
He's looking
shape?
very doggy-like.
No,
No,
it is.
initially when I was doing it, it looked more like a cat to me.
Oh,
Why is that?
I wish you'd taken a picture then because now it's not. So I have no idea why it would look like a cat.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's
It was
looking like a
looking
Scotty.
Yeah.
He's
like a
looking like a
wild cat,
Scotty.
actually, it was looking, and then it changed to a well.
I wish you'd taken a
Oh,
picture.
Bhavani, nice. Your dog is wonderful.
Oh, very nice.
Bhavani's dog is lovely. And the hair too.
Hair is also very nice. Wonderful. Very good. Okay, good. So now we have 3 minutes left. Can we make a 3-minute sketch of the bull and finish it off?
Cow?
Yes.
I mean the bull, whatever. Let me have a look at him. Looks like a
Yes,
cow.
yes. Let us do it, please. Let's finish it
Okay,
off.
very fast.
Make a small one if you feel. If nothing else, it'll at least it might look like a Picasso sketch. That would be great also. In art school, there is a terrible but yet very useful exercise where you're supposed to make a sketch in some 5 seconds or 10 seconds or something. So typically the students are taken to a train station and
Oh,
there they have to draw the people that they see at the train station. And usually people are rushing from one place to another. So you just get 5 minutes to quickly see. It's called gestural drawing.
would
Is
be
it called
nice to
gesture?
learn.
Yeah. I have a plan of sitting in a mall at some point to do this thing. I don't know when that's going to happen. I would love to do it. Except I'm so self-conscious myself. I can't when I would like to actually make portraits of people at public places. How alliterative of that sentence.
Proportion.
One minute. Okay, I guess that's it.
Oh, well, kind of. Well,
You can continue after this also.
yeah, but
It's not as if I can take your papers away or anything. So
oh, I'll show you what I did. I think you can tell me exactly what I'm doing
yeah,
there. Just, it's a very light sketch. Can you see?
let me see 1 second.
Sorry.
Yeah, nice. This is good.
Nose is a bit long, but yes, at least that thing of just looking at it and not looking at the paper too much
Yeah,
works. Yeah.
I have a feeling also, and
What a lovely cow.
90 minutes of sketching will have warmed up your hands. So your ab hands will be ready to do some heavy lifting.
Ab hands describes it.
Ab hands?
Perfectly. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to work with ab hands. Okay, good. So now next week, I don't have a picture of a squirrel, unfortunately. So we'll do squirrel at some point.
Yeah, there are lots on on Pinterest, those chipmunky things. But yes, what were we going to do next week?
Next week, I wanted to take on some kind of reptile. So we would either do a crocodile or a turtle, anything else that you can think of. Best is to just put a picture on the group, because then I usually go over the group or maybe just the day before, since there are so many other classes. And
We did turtle last year, so maybe crocodile. Ooh, crocodile. I mean, not that I don't like crocodile, just thinking the texture will be really something.
it's
Maybe-
very even
What
an
about-
iguana is very nice. Chameleons are very good. So I've made all of those in class. We'll choose one of
Okay.
them.
Okay.
Yeah. If you
Maybe
come
something you haven't done. Yeah.
anything that
You've done snakes?
we've not done snakes, we can make snakes also. Those are nice. All right, let me look for snakes.
Snakes and very shiny, like earthworms and centipede can be very shiny, or those beetles. They're pretty good.
That's
Beetles
gonna
will
be
do last. Yeah.
the week after that. Insects
Yeah,
and
yeah.
such.
Reptiles. Yeah. Snakes we haven't done. Maybe we can look at some pretty ones. There's a lovely yellow and the green, and just to get the texture would be lovely.
Correct. Yeah. Snakes are good fun to make.
Hmm.
All right. Okay, so that's it then for today. I will catch you
Thanks.
next week. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Maybe you can do a
Thank
cobra.
you.
We haven't done a cobra, and they're so beautiful.
We'll do cobras.
Great. Okay. Bye. Bye.
Aditi, do we have to wait?
No, you can leave. Yeah.
You said that we both of us should wait. No,
Yeah,
Janvi?
yeah.
Yes, thank you, Bhavani. And Saroj, I can tell you what to do. Yes, sorry. Just give me 5 minutes. I totally forgot, as happens. Okay. So I'm just going to give you a set of exercises to practice. Use any old paper for this. You don't need to use a fresh sheet, but I'll show you on the fresh sheet. So we're going to make a series of lines. You can make, wherever you are sitting, you keep your book in such a way that the book doesn't move. Normally when we draw, we would move the book around. But in this case, for this exercise, you keep the book in front of you and you don't move yourself either. So these are the two immovable items. The only thing that moves is your hand. So you have to make a series of lines without moving your position or the position of the book. And these lines are just the usual, all cardinal directions. You go vertical, top to bottom, the entire page. As you move from one side to the next, you will notice that your grip changes. It's in some places it'll be uncomfortable, some places it'll be more comfortable, or it might become less comfortable. Because you're not allowed to move the book or how you're sitting, you can't adjust your body like that, but you can adjust your hands. So you draw lines, vertical lines from top to bottom, one whole page, and then bottom to top. Then you will draw lines from left to right and then right to left. So finish the whole page of left to right. Use only one movement at a time. Then reverse the movement. Finish that page. It's all on the same page, not different pages. Then you will make lines on the diagonal from bottom left to top right, and then reverse top right to bottom left. Similarly, top left to bottom right and bottom right to top left. In this, some lines are going to be very difficult to make, but you still have to make them. We don't need to make them equidistant. We don't need to make them straight even. They will be wavy. They'll be doing all sorts of stuff. We still need to make those. So you've got these lines, straightish lines in 8 directions, back and forth in 4 directions. Then you have to make spirals. I'm going to write all this down so you know exactly what. You make lines going down, then going up, sideways, left to right, right to left, diagonal, bottom left to top right, and reverse, and then these are the directions. So you have to repeat them. Then you will make circles, but the circles should be made as if you are grinding this into a hole. So you have to keep going round and round and round with multiple lines. Somewhere in this, there will be one good circle. So you'll make a medium-sized circle, large size, so large, medium, and small circle. And you will keep an eye on how your hand moves. For the medium circle, maybe your whole arm will move. The large circle. The medium size, only your wrist and fingers moves. And for the small one, only your fingers will move. You will do this anti-clockwise and clockwise. So you want your hand to move very freely. Don't look at perfecting the circle. That will happen in time. Aligned to this, you can also make spirals. Anti-clockwise, starting from big, coming to the center. Clockwise, starting big, and then coming to the center. And then also reverse. So you start small and then go outward. And all this without moving the book. You're not meant to move the book. So once you have finished all of these, you will see a book that is full of all of these lines. I'm just going to make a few lines to simulate how your book is going to, or your page is going to look. And you will have these multiple sections made on the paper. Big and small triangles. So the last exercise is more like a meditative exercise. You look out for a a contiguous area which has got lines from all sides, whatever the shape may be. And in that shape, you need to shade any shade that you can. You can make it as light as you can by just about barely touching the pencil and moving your hand or fingers back and forth, resting your hand fully on the paper. Or you can make it very dark or any number of shades in between with the same color, same pencil. You can create a pattern out of these if you want. You can maybe shade it twice if you want. Even something like this. Sometimes these spaces within circles also can be very interesting. So then you can use this. Any shape that you can make as mark, as a contiguous space from border to border, you can take and shade. And there is really no right or wrong in this exercise. It's just an exercise. There's the wrong way of doing it also is, of course, if you move too many things, and there's no point in cheating also over here. So the neatness of your lines is not important. The fact that there are many lines is important. Therefore, this exercise, apart from the shading bit, the line making exercise can also be done on a newspaper. We don't want to waste too much paper or white paper in making this line. So you take half of a newspaper, fold it up, take half a paper and practice these lines. The more you practice, the better your hand becomes in holding the pencil and making different types of lines. Okay, so do this for about 10-15 minutes a day, whenever you get time. And in time, you will just become more comfortable making long span lines or holding a pencil and quickly making sketches. And you'll start becoming more confident making the drawing bit. And then with colors and all, there will be other simpler exercises, but this is the basis of all other exercises.
One question, Aditi. In the list, you had mentioned 2B pencils. What are you using now? What you did the animals now? Which pencil did you use?
This is called a Yuva Stallion Ultra Dark, and since I know how 2B works, I think this is also a 2B pencil.
So I can use a 2B pencil. So today the whole class was done on 2B pencil only.
Yes.
Even the shading and all that, everything.
Yes, yes, yes. I use only 2B pencils unless otherwise specified. You can do a whole lot just with this one pencil, so you don't need to get all the other fancy pencils.
No, I have 2B. I have the HB pencils, different numbers, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, like. So which do we have to do when we are following you? Only 2B, 2 number.
2. Yeah, exactly. So you don't need all those 4B, 6B, 8B right now during class. I
Okay,
try
later
to
on.
not use those, but those are
Okay.
very good for to practice more advanced pencil sketching. So you can use that
Okay.
later.
So I don't need to buy the Yuva Stallion, what you told me, no, now?
No, 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 no.
No, this 2B pencil is fine. Okay.
Yes, yes.
And one more thing, there's the shading which you were showing, the lines. Is there some particular stroke to follow? I mean, up, down, or horizontal, vertical, or some stroke is there to follow?
That stroke, the direction of the stroke will be indicated by the reference image. Like there are the fur around the eyes goes in different directions. So you look at that and then you know how to make that line.
Acha. So
That's-
there's no specific direction. You have to see the sketch and decide like which.
That is, yeah, so that is the specific direction.
So that
It's
will
all usually visible in the reference image.
so that will take time to I mean for us to catch up, no? Which direction to do the stroke.
No, you can see it on the picture.
And then, acha, according to that. Okay.
Yeah. You
Okay.
will.
No, but does it have to be continuous, or you can pick up, like you do one line and then again pick up your hand and come to where you started, or it should be from where you ended, like?
No. Again, it's different hairs, no? So when you draw a line from the same point, it'll be like a fountain. We don't have hair coming out of a follicle like a fountain, right? So it's the
Yeah.
same thing. So you lift it and then next keep the pencil in the neighborhood and make another hair, then move it, you make another hair, and that's how you build in that hairy texture.
Okay. Should I show you that what that rabbit what I did?
Yeah, show me now. Let me have a look.
Okay. And just this cat has not come out good to me. I don't know what I've done.
No, this is good. Yeah, no, both are good. See, that's the best way to know how to make adjustments. This is nice. This is a good start. Not bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So,
I just thought I'll show you so that you can see my mistakes and then, next class correct me that way, like.
yeah. So you can send the picture on the group and I will post my comments on the group.
Okay.
What
Okay.
adjustments might be required. Definitely it
Okay.
will help you in the next class.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, whatever recording I missed, or even the whole thing, I can do again as practice at home, no?
Yeah. So this recording should be available tonight. That's what I aim
Okay.
to do.
Yeah,
Or
yeah, no problem.
at the latest, it'll be available tomorrow. So then you have the rest of the week to watch it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
All
Okay. Okay.
right.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Chalo, I'll see you all next week then.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. What about the other classes on Wednesdays and Saturdays that you have?
Huh?
Is it the same thing you're following? The
I follow
same?
the same thing for all the classes, but the animals will change. So we might have another set of dog and cat or horse maybe on the Friday and Saturday batches. Not
So
Friday.
now supposing if I miss on Tuesday for some reason, so
Yeah.
I can do the other class then, the
Yeah,
other
yeah.
one of the other days.
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
yes, of course.
Okay, okay. ठीक है. Like
Definitely.
today I was a little difficult because suddenly my son was not well in the morning. He didn't go to school,
Hmm.
So that's why I was not able to log
No
in.
problem. No, anytime you feel there's another batch you want to attend, just let me know.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
send you the details for the batch. I'll send
Okay.
you the reference images.
Okay.
Even about up to an hour before also is fine. I'll send you the link and then you can attend that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. No.